Peace and love. What's happening? This is Stacy Patrice coming at you with another Hump Day edition of Tools for the Soul. This week, I would love to talk with you all about acceptance and changing our levels of acceptance in order to activate within. And the reason that I thought that this topic would be great for this week is because I've been having a lot of conversations with people about what it is that their definition makes of their life. How do they define themselves? How do they define others? And what do these definitions do as it relates to changing the levels of interactivity in their lives? Do they stop interacting with people because of a definition? Do they stop doing things because of a definition? Do other people stop them because of a definition? I just thought this was absolutely fascinating and a topic that I had to cover on Tools for the Soul, because all of our souls are in the space where we just want to express. We just want to get what it is that we feel and what we came here for out. So how is it that we can get our spirit to line up with what it is that our souls really want? And the idea that I came up with is definitely changing our levels of acceptance. So for instance, I look around and I look around me and I look at what my life has been in the past, look at what it is now, and I say to myself, what happened and how did I get from this point to that point? Whether the previous point was a great point where I love to be, or whether it's a point where I never want to see again, what changed in order to get me from that previous point to my current point? And the answer that I came up with is that my level of acceptance for what it is that I was doing before was what kept me in that place. And then my level of acceptance for what it is that I wanted changed, and it said, I cannot tolerate this anymore. I will not do this anymore. And then I changed it to fit a new image of what it is that I wanted to do next. So there are a few areas in our lives where we do this, and I want to talk about each one of those as it relates to how we can change our levels of acceptance. Our level of acceptance is actually not a state of being, it's a processing mechanism, right? So think about it like this. Someone says to you, no, I'm just not going to be able to do that. And depending on your level of acceptance, you will allow that to be true, or you will do everything in your power to not allow that to be true, right? One area that I see that is very common is in how we program ourselves, okay? So, for instance, if you are a person who watches news, sitcoms, if you watch a lot of mindless and meaningless TV, or if you in any way, shape, or form are watching things or reading things that feed you propaganda or feed you other people's ideas of the way things are, and you accept, you have this high level of acceptance and you say, yeah, that's the way things are, that's fine, then you might find yourself eventually becoming to believe or becoming aligned with the things that you take in and the things that you read. If you are a person who likes to challenge, if you have a kind of warrior spirit and you like to challenge what it is you read, you may read a lot of propaganda because this may help you to reinforce your position as being a truth teller. So if I read a lot of propaganda and I read people say things that are not true, either about myself or about other people like me or people that I serve or my community or my race or, my gender, if I read things that are not true and I see them and know them to not be true, I could make an assumption that this person is just stereotyping over a larger audience, or I could say this person has an agenda to put this type of information out there to a larger audience that may not know this group of people and be in position to influence them away from trusting this group of people as being an authority or as being a valid human being who can create their lives the way that they see fit. So this is one of the areas we really have to watch, is how we program ourselves, because everything you're watching and not watching is part of your program, whether you treat it that way or not. Who you're listening to, who you're getting advice from, the activities that you involve yourself with, the things that you watch, the things that you listen to, the music that's playing subconsciously in the background, the ideas that your friends plant in your head. It's not that everybody is this open in order to accept all of this propaganda, but especially in this day and time, as we have social media as the huge influencer that it is, we always have to watch, what are we being programmed with? What are the ideas that are coming into our space that maybe before, as a credible news source, as a credible newspaper, or as a credible magazine, we would have blindly trusted it. But in this day and age where everyone has authorship to create something, if they have a computer or a phone, we have to be very mindful of the idea that we are being fed other people's ideas of what our world is. And is that really true? And should we be in a position to accept blindly or openly or evenly that just what other people are saying is the truth? And this goes for me as well. If you find anything I'm saying to be untrue, by all means challenge yourself to think if this is true for you as well. And that's what having a platform or a podium to be able to reach people is really all about. So that's number one for me. Number one is definitely, what is it that you're programming yourself with? Number two are, what are the words that you're using? What are the words that you're reading? So this has to do with programming as well, but it also has to do with being conscious of your own vocabulary. So a lot of times we read things that give an impression before we've even read the entire article, right? And I'm really diving into the social media portion of things. But think about it like this. When you're reading an article, if the article already tells you in the title, it already discredits someone, judges someone in the title, you already know what the article is going to be about, right? It's not just clickbait to have a title sometimes. Sometimes the title is definitely telling us what the content or the vibration of the article entails. Every now and then we get something that's different, but the vibration of the article, if you're in a really happy space and you read a really crappy article, or read some words where someone's being really harsh on someone else that doesn't deserve that, or you don't feel that they are being fair and just in their opinion or in their bias, that they're creating journalism that is not responsible, then a lot of times you find yourself in this kind of textual debate. Like, did they mean for that to come across like that? Or is my filter the one that's helping me to read it that way? What is actually happening on this page that is influencing me at all times, the same way that what I'm watching and visually seeing is influencing me at all times? And I really suggest that you change your social media feeds accordingly. The words that you like to hear, that give you a place to activate you, those are the people that should be allowed in your feed and should be allowed to be in your private networks, because those are the people that are going to constantly feed you what it is that's going to motivate you and activate you to have a high level of acceptance for the type of life you want to live, and not a high level of acceptance to just accept whatever is out there if it doesn't fit what it is you see for yourself. Number three, by all means and in all ways, we definitely have to be careful of our physical invitations. So we've gone from visual to textual to absolutely physical. So this means when a friend calls you and says, "Hey, you want to go have lunch, girl? Because I need to tell you all kinds of stuff." That might not be an invitation that you want to accept. It really depends on where you are, right? You may want to connect with that friend because you all vibe, and that might be a great invitation. In another instance, that invitation may be very much, that's in the past, that's over with, I'm done with that. Let's move forward. Let's talk about what we're doing in our lives right now. Let's talk about all of the positive things that we can birth into existence. That might be the type of conversation you want to have. Or you might just want to reduce the amount of time that you spend in those type of conversations. Because again, we're speaking of acceptance. We're speaking of us being accepting beings as it relates to what's good for us, but also discerning beings as it relates to what is not necessarily in our best interest. And in order to do that, we have to always be conscious of what's coming to us, not necessarily analyzing it, from a very critical space, but just being conscious of what we accept in and how much of it we accept. I've been the gossiping person. I have listened to gossiping people. I have avoided gossiping people. I have stopped gossiping. These are all things. It's a full circle of life, in my opinion, is to not only know what it's like on the giving end, but the receiving end, and to say, you know what? That's actually not what I want to do right now. That doesn't serve anyone. I don't want to be involved, and never mind, to each his own, right? And then the final and the last one, after your physical invitations, whether people are inviting you places or inviting you into conversation or inviting you anywhere that may feel distracting from what you're doing, the very last level of acceptance that I will put out there is listening to what your body is telling you. So now we're doing this inner type of acceptance and looking at the inner invitation. So if your body is saying, I just really need physical exercise right now, and then the comment comes up, but I don't feel like doing it, which we've all had that happen, right? If the "I don't feel like doing it" is stronger than than what's going on in your body, then you're basically overriding your own good, your own needs, desires, invitations, to help yourself be happy and feel sustained and nourished. If you allow your mind to override your heart, if your heart is saying, "I really would love to do this," and you say, "Yeah, but I could never make it happen. I could never allow that to be a part of my life." Again, you have a very low level of acceptance for your own intuition. What you're essentially saying is that my mind is smarter than anything else that exists. My mind, being the powerful muscle that I've worked all the time, is constantly telling me what to do. My mind is my boss, as opposed to your intuition, which is, in a sense, mindlessness. It's you paying attention to what comes up and honoring it as it comes up, and then using your mind to figure out possibly a way to make it happen or a way to bring it into manifestation. So we really have to listen to that inner level of invitation as well. Your body's constantly telling you things. Your skin, your hair, your eyes, your entire being is constantly speaking to you. And how much are you listening when you're being spoken to? And this is something that in the yoga realm, as a yoga facilitator, I encounter all of the time. I encounter people finding out and negotiating what that time is to listen to their body when they're getting these strong repeat messages is usually the time that everyone pays attention. But in the beginning, they're very quiet, they're very subtle, they're very specific. You feel them in a specific place, you feel them in a particular way. You might not understand why they're doing that, but you get it. And even in your dreaming, your body is constantly speaking to you, your mind is constantly speaking to you. So these are the areas that I think that we should look at. And then the tools of the soul is just you investigating as these areas come up. What is good for you? What do you want? What is your soul trying to say to you? What are you speaking to other people when you do things? So when you produce and you take something from yourself and create it, what are you actually saying? What is the message beyond the message? So if, as I'm doing this video, this is just not me loving to talk, I do, but this is also me saying, I want to see an empowered world. I want to see a world of people who understand and grasp and get concepts that can help them feel empowered. And I'm so dedicated to that that I'm going to do it on a regular basis where people can rely on it, whether they find out about it 10 months from now or in 10 minutes, right? The idea is that I'm putting a stream out there for people to buy into. If somebody gets stuck, and they find this video, they click on it, they may get unstuck. They may find the understanding they were looking for, or someone else's video on the side panel next to my video. Whatever the case may be, everything is interconnected. Everything is connected. So your body, your words, the things you invite into your life, the people you invite into your life, and the things you produce from that are all going to be connected. You can almost look at a person and tell what they watch, what they listen to. We don't want to get into the stereotype, but as people's minds become more limited to a full experience, we have to start to look at the things that they're putting in to understand why they're getting this limited result out. And that's my piece today. So I thank you so much for watching. Please leave your comments below. Let me know how you either adjusted now or previously your own standard of living, your own levels of acceptance in order to connect to what is really powerful and dynamic for what it is that you want to see of yourself in your life and of those around you. So talk to me, please. I would love to hear from you. Please share this with anyone that you know that may be going through this type of thought process and may find themselves stuck in their own stuff, stuck in their own muck. We all get there, right? Again, I'm Stacy Patrice. Leave a comment below. And peace, love, namaste, ashe. I hope to see you next hump day. Talk to you soon. Peace.